Hey there, Facebook. Hello, hello. Hey there. It is Kendra from KendraKWoods.com, the Mindset Queen, coming to you today for our live chat to start out the week. How are you doing? Come on in, come on in, come on in. All right. It's a little dark. My lighting's a little dark, but I'm going to roll with it. I'm going to share this over to my pages real quick. I wanted to sit somewhere different. I normally sit in my office, and I just wanted a different place to sit today. So I thought I would come into my kitchen area and get comfortable and have a conversation with you here. So sitting here, ready to talk to you. I've got my tea. I've got some honey vanilla chamomile tea that is steeping right now. So I'm looking forward to tasting that. So I want to talk to you today about trusting your intuition and how this ties into business. This thought came to me today. It actually came to me this morning because I got up this morning and it is super duper cold outside. I live in the panhandle of Florida, okay? And so, hey guys, shout yourself out when you come on. I live in the panhandle of Florida, and we typically get really, warm weather. And so this morning I wasn't feeling it because it was like 36 degrees outside, I think, this morning. I mean, it was cold. And so I got up this morning and I took my daughter to the bus stop. And you know how you have those mornings when you're just not, it's like things aren't moving inside. Like you don't really feel motivated. You just don't want to do anything, right? And so this story ties into my title of my live stream, by the way. And so hey guys, say hello when you come on. And so I didn't have the motivation to get going this morning, right? So I took my daughter to the bus stop and I came home, and typically what I do, I get back home at 6:30 in the morning, and I typically go straight into my workout from that point, right? I did not feel like it. Like my mind was like, yep, you need to work out, but my body was like, nope, I'm not feeling it. And I learned something the other day about, I took a class. It was like a 7-day deep dive class around prayer, right? And how to pray effectively and all that good stuff. And so I learned this prayer it's called the prayer of release, where you literally, you're praying about something that you want to release, and you simply just release it, and you go about your day just literally tuning in and asking yourself, okay, what do I do next? Asking God or source or universe, however you relate to your higher being, and you're asking, okay, now what do I do next? And what do I do next? And you're literally following whatever those intuitive steps are that you need to do, right? And so this morning, I didn't go into prayer at that time, but I just said to myself, Kendra, what is it that you need? What do you need right now? Because obviously you don't feel like working out. And my body was like, go back to sleep. And I was like, no, I really don't want to go back to sleep. So I asked myself what I needed. And what came to me was, the thought came to me to make some coffee. And so I made some coffee and I thought, okay, now what? And then the next thought came to me and said, sit down and read your book for 30 minutes. And now normally, I know that may seem kind of like, okay, that's it. But I'm very, very disciplined in my day. I'm very disciplined because I understand that discipline and consistency is important when you're in any facet of your life, but especially in business. And so I have my routine that I do every single morning, right? To get the things done that are what I call my non-negotiables, right? Like I have non-negotiables that will get done every single day. And so there was that part of me that was just like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. You've got to get started with your day. And so I had this whole, tug going, but I chose to trust myself in the moment. And so for those of you who are in business right now for yourself, or you're just starting out in business, it's taken me up until this point, almost 2 years in, not quite 2 years in, to begin tapping into that place where I feel like I can trust my intuition and I can trust myself. And a lot of that has come down to me clearing some of the limiting beliefs, doing some healing work emotionally, and reprogramming my mind daily, right? And so it's so crucial and so important to always focus on what you're thinking about, focusing on what you're believing in the moment, and focusing on what beliefs you're holding around business, around money, around relationships, around, your fitness, around your self-image, because all of those things, believe it or not, play into how you show up in business and how well you're able to sell your products and connect with your tribe and do all of that, right? Hey, Tara, nice to see you. Thank you for watching. And so I'm just now kind of tapping into that little piece where I'm beginning to listen. Well, let me take that back. I've always listened, but now I'm actually taking the action that I hear, right? So this morning when I heard, make some coffee and read your book, my first reaction was, ooh, no. I've got to get started on my routine. But I said, no, I'm going to release this and I'm going to surrender to what my intuition is telling me to do. And so don't you know, I sat down, had me a cup of coffee, I read my book for 30 minutes, you guys. And then after that, I felt so much better. It's like I needed some time to kind of get into my day, but I felt so much better. And then from there, I immediately went into my workout. And so I'm sharing this with you because as we grow up in our life, depending on your childhood experiences, we all tend to have these beliefs inside of us that will really cover up our inner voice, will cover up our own intuition, right? I can't see if you guys are leaving comments. So if you are, I'm sorry, I cannot see them. But we all have these beliefs and limiting beliefs and emotional blocks inside of us that will, that cover up that inner voice, right? Hey, Kimberly, I saw you just liked the video. Hey there, thanks for watching. And it covers up our true voice. And so when you begin to kind of weed through what some of those limiting beliefs are, what some of those emotional blocks are, you begin to reveal the light that's inside of you that literally will guide you step by step by step in your business, right? And so the other thought that came to me today that I wanted to share with you is, and I made a post about this earlier, is that when you're in business for yourself, and especially if you have an online business, there's so much noise in the online world, right? And not that that's bad. I mean, I love that there's, a plethora of coaches that do all types of different things and speakers and authors. I love it because I know that I'm in the perfect market, right? But it can also be very distracting when you see, somebody else who's in business who maybe is a year or two ahead of you and they are like crushing it. And maybe you're just kind of at the very beginning stages of your business. It can be distracting in the sense that you feel like, okay, well, when is my time going to come, right? Kimberly, hey, so glad you agree. It's like you can be thinking like, okay, when is it going to be my time? When am I going to get to that place to where it's my time? And then you can get so focused on that, on focusing on that person and what they're doing, that you lose sight of what you're doing, right? And it slows you down. The other piece of that is because there's so much out there and so much available to you, it's very, very important to be able to find somebody as a coach or a mentor, whoever, that you connect with, right? And that's why I always tell my clients, my tribe, my community, it's important to show up and to let people see you, to let people get to know you, to let people get to know what you're about, because that's how connection happens, especially when we're in a space where everything is online, right? When you're doing video conferencing, when you're doing live streams, when you're typing a blog, people need to be able to feel you and know you and connect with you. And so it's kind of a side note, but that's what I always tell my clients is you've got to start showing up so people can see who you are and what you're about. But outside of that, my point with that is when you do find that coach or that mentor that you connect with, it is not getting the syndrome of shiny object syndrome, right? Where everything you see, you're like, oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh, I need that. Oh, I think I need this. Oh, I think I need that, right? Because there's that part of you that wants to succeed so bad. Because see, I get it, right? Like You're a high achiever. You are ambitious. You are driven. You have goals that you want to meet like yesterday, and you've got things that you want to see happen. And because I recognize that, and because I am the exact same way, right? Like I need things happening like right now. There's that part of you that can always be like looking like, okay, I need that. Oh, okay, I need that. Okay, I need that. And you're not taking the time to listen to, okay, what is it that I really need? Right? What is it that I really need? And taking inventory around what it is that you really need. And the other facet to that, you guys, is as women, I feel like I can only speak for myself, but you all let me know if you resonate with this. Growing up, I was in an environment where, as a kid, it was like you were there, but it's like, it's you're there, but not heard, if that's the right, I'm trying to, like, it's, as a kid, whenever there was no expressing, your side of things to your parents, right? Well, I feel like this and I feel like that. And there was none of that, right? Because that's back talk, right? So there was no like expression, emotional expression. And so, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's just how things were, when I was growing up. And so as I grew up, I got to this place where it was like I was really afraid to kind of speak my voice or even like speak my opinion or express myself because I wasn't quite sure of myself because I hadn't practiced speaking my voice or speaking my mind or saying what was on my mind, right? I hadn't practiced it before. So growing up, going into adulthood, I'm like, ooh, I have an opinion, but I don't want to make anybody upset if I say anything, or ooh, I have an opinion, but what if they tell me to be quiet, right? And even though when you're an adult, that no one's going to tell you to be quiet when you're in corporate and you have a great idea, no one's going to tell you that. But when you carry that belief with you from a kid up into adulthood, you're still operating from that same belief, right? And so you don't get that full range of expression. And so when you get into adulthood and you say, okay, I want to start a business, I want to launch my own business, you haven't really ever had the opportunity to truly hear your true voice, right? There's two sides of that coin. The one side of that coin is, okay, yeah, there's work to do, right? Because you've got to get to that place to where you can hear your true voice, where you can hear your intuition clearly. But then on the other side of that, you've got to know too that when you do go into business for yourself, it is the best thing that you can do for yourself to help you find yourself, to help you tap into your intuition, to help you tap into your own voice, right? Into your own message. And it's taken, quite some time for me to do that, but I'm finally getting to that place where it's like, I know my voice and I'm getting more comfortable with speaking my truth, with speaking, transparently and authentically, because you hear that a lot, right? Be authentic, just be your authentic self. Okay, well, let's say you're coming from corporate America, like where I came from. I've been in corporate for 10 years. And so now I'm out on my own. You have to show up and behave in a certain way in corporate. So when you transition into business, into your own business, you then have to figure out, okay, wait, I don't have to put that mask on anymore. So how am I supposed to show up now? It's like you almost feel like, oh, wait a minute, I'm going to expose myself if I take the mask off, right? And so there's a little fear and trepidation there. But doing the daily work to tap into yourself, and some of the things that I do to tap into my intuition is sitting in stillness. Just literally just sitting in stillness, no music, no nothing. I have what I call my sacred space in my closet. So I close the closet door. I have pillows. I have a blanket. I have candles. I have a little lamp, and I just sit in stillness for 30 minutes, right? Prayer is another way that I love to tap into that spirit within me, right? Writing in my journal is another way that I get to express and get that voice out and get the thoughts out and get the questions out of, okay, Kendra, what's holding you back? What's going on, right? Music is another way. And so it's finding ways to where you can tap in and hear what's going on inside of you, and then getting to a place where you trust it and you move from that place. And so that is something that I am practicing every day, is just okay, Kendra, what are we going to do? And then moving from that place. Like before I got on this live stream, I asked myself, I said, okay, what are we going to talk about today? What's on my mind? What do I want to share with my community? What does she need to know today? How can I inspire or encourage somebody today? And so I walked around the house for a moment and I thought, I said, ooh, intuition. I'm going to share the story of how I trusted, my little trust exercise that I did this morning. I said, I'm going to share that with my audience. And we're going to talk about how intuition plays a role in your business. And then, I said, okay, we're going to talk about it. I had a few little points I wanted to talk about, didn't write anything down, but I'm just on here and I'm trusting that what comes through me is perfect for the right person. It's perfect for the right people. And when you can get to that place, whether it's in a corporate job or in your business, which more specifically I'm speaking in business, that's when you get to the place of speaking your truth, being authentic, creating products and services that you want to create, not the ones that somebody says, well, you should create this or you should create that, but creating products that you want to create, right? I write a blog every day, and some business coaches will say, blogs are useless. You shouldn't write a blog every day. But part of my gift of expression is writing. So for me not to write, to try to go by that blueprint that someone else says to go by would not work for me, because I would feel suffocated and feel like I'm not fully expressing myself. Okay. Another one of my gifts is speaking. I'm a speaker. So I love to get on Facebook Lives. Another coach would say, oh, don't get on Facebook Lives. They're a waste of time, blah, blah, blah. But this is what serves me best. And it serves my community best, simply because it serves me best, right? And so it's being honest with yourself. It's being accepting of yourself. It is knowing that whatever comes through you is the right thing for you to do, because your intuition will never steer you wrong. And so now what I do when I'm about to invest in something, when I'm about to work with a coach, or when I'm about to, purchase a program from home, like a work study program, I always find myself asking myself, Kendra, is this what you really need? Is this what you need in this moment? Are you just excited because it looks good, it looks pretty? Or deep down, do you really need this, right? And if the answer is yes, then fine, I'll move with it. No problem. But if I find myself hesitating, or if I find myself like, I don't know, then I'm like, okay, let me just step back for a second. But let me tap on that for a moment. Let's talk about that for a second. By the way, Kimberly, before I forget, I sent you an email today about the workshop. So it should be in your inbox. So let's tap on that for a second, where you feel like maybe you feel some fear or some hesitation around some area in your business, right? When it comes to investing, for instance, right? Let's talk about that, because there's a part of you that where it could be your intuition saying, nope, this is not the right thing for you. But there could also be that part of you that is playing off of a limiting belief. Okay, that's playing off of a limiting belief that's making you think that you're scared. That's making you think that you're afraid of doing something. You're welcome. And so if you don't tap into what your limiting beliefs are, into what your belief patterns are, emotional patterns are, then you could not take the opportunity when it's presented to you because of a fear-based belief versus it actually being your intuition. And that is the absolute beauty. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm getting excited. That is the absolute beauty of tapping in and tuning in and becoming aware of how you think, what you're thinking about, what your beliefs are, what's going on in here. That's why I love what I do, because you can I could talk to you about whatever. And I don't know, maybe, like I talked to a woman a couple weeks ago, and she started her business and put herself out there and got rejected. And then she curled back into her shell. Right. And so her and I talked about that. I said, let's talk about that a little bit. Tell me how that went down, what happened. And so we went through the whole story, right? And what it came down to was one thing. And I pointed it out to her. I said, you do realize the reason why you're not showing up in your business the way you want to is because of X. And she said to me, oh my God, you're right. But here's the thing. Before I pointed that out to her, she didn't realize it. And the reason why is because our beliefs are so deep rooted, you guys. I say this all the time. Our beliefs are so deep rooted that they're automatic. They're automatic. So when you respond to something, like now, for instance, before I respond to anything, I kind of step back for a second. And I go, okay, wait, let me, my normal reaction is this. My normal reaction is to do this. But what's a better response, or what's a better way of doing this that would serve me from a higher place? And so it's kind of that, it's that place of really taking time to think about what it is you're going to say or do, right? And if what you're going to say is true to you, if it's true to you and it honors your truth, then by all means, you need to say it, you need to do it, you need to go for it, regardless of how it may make somebody else feel. Because that's the other piece in this, you all, when it comes to your intuition, is we'll say to ourselves, okay, I know I need to do this. I know I need to do this. And I mean, and maybe you've done this before, because I've done it, I know. In the past, where I'm like, I know I need to do this. I know I need to just step out on faith and do this. I know I need to do that. But then there's that part of me that's holding me back. And that part that would hold me back during that time was my fear of wondering what everyone else would think. Right? Like, oh my gosh, well, what are my parents going to think? What's my dad going to think? What's my mom going to think? What are my friends going to think if I do this? What is my husband going to think? Right? And so I would kind of like slowly retreat. And so when you begin the process, the healing process, the discovery process, and you begin to trust yourself more, then you'll allow yourself to step out there more. You'll allow yourself to be seen more. You'll allow yourself to be more visible. One of the number one fears, you want to know what one of the number one fears of online entrepreneurs is? Let me know if you want to know. But one of the number one fears, and you probably already know it, one of the number one fears of online entrepreneurs. And it's amazing to me because it's the one fear that I actually don't, like when I started out, I was going, I don't have a fear of that. But the number one fear, comments are slow, so I'm going to go ahead and answer. The number one fear that online entrepreneurs have is the fear of visibility. It's the fear of people seeing them. It's the fear of people actually listening to what they're saying. Okay? And the reason that is because we're not used to putting ourselves out there, to being exposed. We're used to kind of being, in this little like safe comfort zone, right? And whenever you put yourself out there, it triggers every belief inside of you that is trying to protect you. And it says, no, don't do it, right? And so then you don't. And so the number one fear is being visible out in the marketplace. The other thing is, and along the lines of visibility, is actually putting yourself out there, like selling what it is that you're selling, telling people about your services, telling people what you have to offer. What I hear from entrepreneurs is, oh, well, I don't want people to think that I don't want people to feel like I'm bugging them about what I'm selling. I don't want people to feel like I'm being too pushy. No, that is your own belief. That is your own belief. Because whatever you have to offer, whatever it is that you are great at, whatever it is that you're gifted at, there are people out in this world who need what you have. And the people who don't need what you have just simply won't buy from you. Right? So it's not about being too pushy or too salesy or feeling like you're bothering people. You're in business. You're in business. You don't see commercials like, let me think of some commercials I see here. We get a Macy's commercial a lot, or JCPenney's, right? You don't see them worried about how many spots they have on the commercials here on the TV. They will have as many commercial spots as possible to get in front of your face to let you know what it is they're selling so that you can come into their store. And so we've got to begin to think the same exact way, right? I've got to keep putting myself out there, right? I've got to keep putting myself out there so people know what I have. I've got to keep showing up so people know what I have, right? And that's why I get on these live streams every single day. That's why I do a blog post every single day. That's why I email my email list every single day, right? Because I need you to know that I'm here to help you. Because maybe right now, oh, and here's the other thing. Oh, here's the other thing I got to share with you. Let me hold that. Because maybe you don't need me right now, right? But there may be a point in your journey where you're like, oh, I remember that Kendra girl saying that she was doing a workshop, or I remember that Kendra girl saying that she was doing a course around limiting beliefs. Let me go check that out. Let me go see what she's doing now, right? The other piece of that is understand that people are always watching you. I was telling my girlfriend that the other day in the car. I said to her, I said, you know what's interesting to me? And how I know people are always watching, whether they comment, whether they like your post, whether they do anything on like when you're posting social media, they're watching you. There are people silently watching what you're doing. Like when you post something about your business or about what you're doing, they're watching. They may not be responding, but they're watching. And here's how I know this is true. Because I get messages from people often that say to me, I love your videos. They're so encouraging, you know, great information. Oh, you really spoke to me today. Or they'll reply to an email that I sent out like 2 weeks ago and they'll reply to it like 2 weeks later. Oh, I needed to hear this. People are always watching and listening. And so I know I've totally gotten off track of like the whole intuition thing, but I'm letting this come through. So people are always watching. And so that's why it's so crucial to keep showing up every single day, consistent, okay? So now I'm going to say something that may sound a little contradictory to the whole point of always showing up, right? And it's going back into tapping into your intuition, right? Now, I grew up, my whole adult life, after college, going into corporate, I had this mindset of you have got to hustle. You've got to hustle hard for your money, right? Like you got to get out there and you have got to work and bust your tail to make the money that you want to make and to get the promotions that you feel like you deserve and to get where you want to be, right? So when I was in corporate, not my last position, but the position before that one was a very demanding position. And I made it even more so demanding because I had the belief that, okay, if they're paying me this much money, because I was getting paid more than I had been paid in any other position that I held, right? So my thought was, if they're paying me this much money, then that means I have to work this much more harder, right? I got to work harder. I got to stay later. I got to work on the weekends. I got to bring my work home with me, right? And so I had that mindset. And so I would ignore the clues that my body would give me that were telling me to slow down, right? I would ignore the extreme fatigue. Oh, I just didn't get a good night's sleep last night. That's all. I would ignore the effects that stress was having on my body when I was having like allergic flare-ups where my immune system was like attacking my body, right? Oh, I don't know what's going on with that. I'll just take some medicine, right? I would ignore the feelings of depression, right? Because I had this belief that you've got to go hard, Kendra. I wasn't listening to that voice inside of me saying, hello, Kendra, you might need to slow it down a little bit. Take a rest. It's okay to rest, right? And so I'm saying this to you to say that while it is very, very important for you to be consistent and persistent in your business, you do also have to know that when your body says, it's time for a break. Kimberly, it's time for you to sit down. It's time for a break, right? When your body says that to you, that is your opportunity to say, okay, let me just surrender to this. Because let me tell you what happens when you don't surrender to what your intuition is trying to tell you. It's going to keep knocking. And then the knocking is going to get louder. And then the knocking is going to get louder. And then it's going to manifest into some physical things that you don't like, right? And so I find myself from time to time where I'm going. I'm like, yes, I'm in flow. I'm feeling good. And then I get to that day where my body and my mind is just like, no, we need to shut it down and rest. And I used to fight myself on this, just like I did before, because I believe that, I gotta hustle, I gotta work hard. And so I fought myself. And what I realized is the more that I would fight myself, the harder it was for me to show up and do live streams. The more I fought myself and fought my intuition, the harder it was for me to sit down and write out my 1,000+ blog that I do every day, right? The more I fought myself, the more it was difficult for me to tap into my messages for the day, right? Right. Kimberly says, yep, I left practice for this main reason. Yes. What practice were you in, Kimberly? Were you in the medical field, attorney? What were you in? But yes. And so the harder it was for me to tap in. And so finally, when I realized that I had to surrender to my intuition, I felt so much better. I mean, there have been days where, I would get up in the morning and my body and my mind was just like, not happening today. You need to rest. And I'll take a nap. I'll allow myself to take like a 2, 3, sometimes 4-hour nap. But then you know what happens when I get up from that nap? Oh my gosh, I am on fire. I'm like, boom, 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 boom. I'm getting stuff done, right? And I'm getting it done quicker than I would have gotten it done had I ignored my intuition and kept pushing and kept pushing and kept pushing and kept pushing, right? Ooh, chiropractor. Yes. I found a new love for chiropractors. Totally off topic, I know. But my low back had been bothering me for a really long time. And I was scared to death to go to a chiropractor. Again, my belief, right? That chiropractors was going to hurt me. But I found relief. So thank you for what you do, or for what you did as a chiropractor. And so I realized when I would listen to myself that I would actually be more efficient in my daily duties. You in private practice. Awesome. Awesome. So my point with this whole live stream is begin to tap in. And here's something you can ask yourself. Here's what I want you to do. Here's an exercise for you, okay? And it's going to seem really simple, but it's so powerful. Sit down with your journal and ask yourself, what do I want? What do I want? Like if you're in a moment, say for instance, where you're kind of trying to figure out, okay, what do I do next in business? How do I do this? How do I move forward, right? Sit down with a pen and a piece of paper and ask yourself, what do I want? What do I feel that I need to do? Because the time that you invest in doing that, because here's the thing, you're going to think to yourself, I don't want to sit down and write. That's going to take time away when I could be over here doing something already. But here's the thing, like I said before, if you don't take the time to do it, you're going to be over here trying to do your task or what it is that you think you should be doing. And you're going to be going in circles and circles and circles, frustrated, when if you would sit down and spend 20 minutes or 15 minutes expressing what it is you think, that you want to do, that you need to do, and looking at what it is that comes up and then taking action from that space, you're going to be so much more successful in business. And it's the same thing in other areas of your life, your finances, your health, your relationships, all of it. Okay? All of it. So let me know if you guys have any questions. If you have any questions or any comments. Let's see. So Kimberly says, yes, honey, I'm still journaling on this. It does help. It does help. It is a beautiful form of expression and it allows you to get it out. I'll never stop journaling. I mean, I have journals on top of journals on top of journals around my house and notebooks and notebooks and notebooks because it's cleansing, right? It's cleansing. You got to let it out. So before I get off here, let me share this with you. Next Tuesday, December 19th, I am hosting my 2018 Purpose Planning Workshop, okay? It is a workshop that I'm doing for everybody. It's one of my lower investment workshops. It's $47, all right? And what we're going to do is literally get you prepared for 2018. So let me tell you a little bit about it. All right, and I'll drop the link here in a second for you to go reserve your space if you choose to. But my goal is this. Here's the thing. When we're going into a new year, hey Dee, when we go into a new year, we have these wonderful thoughts of, oh, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to have these goals, and I'm going to have these resolutions, and I'm going to do this. And then what happens a month, 2 months into the new year, you kind of drift off, and you go back to your old ways of being, right? And that's simply because you haven't dealt with the things inside of you that will not allow you to do the things that are outside of your comfort zone, that are outside of your normal, okay? Ooh, good, Kimberly. The surrendering portion was good for you. Oh, good, good. Surrendering is a practice. I'm telling you, it's a practice because it's not easy to surrender. I get it. But it's like the more you do it, the easier it gets. And the more you start realizing, okay, this surrender thing is not so bad, right? So the workshop is going to be a 2-hour workshop where I'm going to provide you with the tools, the game plan, the mindset, and the clarity that you need in order for you to grow into new levels, okay? So your goals and New Year's resolutions are absolutely useless if you do not also up your way of thinking, right? Because the things that you want to create in your life or in your business are new things. So that means you have to have a new mindset. That means you have to tap into old beliefs and get rid of them, right? So we're going to be tapping into all of that. And so my desire is to show you how to create the best year of your life so you're not duplicating 2017. So we're going to tap into, here's a few things we're going to tap into. I'm going to help you create your daily mindset practice that automatically places you in alignment with your vision. I'm going to help you identify your particular limiting beliefs around actually creating what you say you want. Okay. And then identifying where they came from and learning how to overcome them. We're going to look at the importance of specificity, because a lot of times when I talk to women, I'm like, so what do you want to do? What do you want? And they'll say, oh, I want to bring more money into my business. That's not specific. You've got to be specific. So I'm going to help you with that in this workshop. We're going to talk about how you tap into the answers inside of you that are already within you. How do you hear those answers? How do you get in there, right? So that you can hear exactly what it is you need to hear on a daily basis to get you moving towards your goals. I'm going to show you how to break down your vision, your goals, and all that into doable stages. So you're not looking at this big, audacious goal, like, oh my gosh, how am I supposed to even start with that? And so essentially, I'm going to set you up for you to have a strong foundation of belief and support around your goals, okay, while you're going through this next year. So it's not going to be just your typical, let's write some goals and let's set a timeline and we're done. We're going deep in this workshop. So it'll be a 2-hour workshop. The investment's $47. I'm going to do it in a video conferencing setting so that I can see your face and you can see my face. And I'm going to work with the women that are there, the people that are there. I will be working some one-on-one. I want people to engage. So I will be helping you through the process, but it's going to be amazing. And it's really going to set you up for success in 2018. Okay. Cause my whole thing, the thing that's really helped me this year has been being on purpose and being intentional. So we're going to talk a lot about that. So I'll drop the link for you. Where you can sign up, and it's just a payment link for you to reserve your space. It's $47. And then once you do that, I'll shoot you an email with the details and all that good stuff. Okay. So thank you all so much for watching. I'm so grateful, for you being here. Whether you're watching it live or recorded, thank you so much. I love it. So leave me your comments, your thoughts, any ahas, any questions. I always come back and take a look at them. Okay. So now I've got to run. I need to go to the bus stop and get my little girl off the bus and then go to gymnastics afterwards. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys again soon, okay? Bye for now.